My lifelong dream has always been to lose weight and become fit. In 2 years, 10 months, and 27 days, I lost 190 pounds through natural means. Now that I've fulfilled my lifelong dream, I'm dedicating myself to help others do the same. I am an endomorph, the underdog, and the man who never gave up. My name is John Calvo, and I am Willpower. Hey everyone, so this is a video I've been wanting to do for a long time. The main reason I've been holding back on it is because I wanted to get all my information clear, first of all. And second of all, I was thinking, what can I really bring to the table that hasn't already been said by so many others? There's a lot of other people out there on YouTube and especially over the internet, like Martin Burkhan, Nate Miyake, Brad Pillen. Like they've all said a lot of this stuff way better than I can. I don't have a degree in nutrition. I don't have a degree as a personal trainer or anything like that. I actually graduated with a bachelor's in criminal justice, so that's more of what I'm, I guess, more credible to talk about. But I mean, through my experience and through my own personal research, I've really researched a lot of these methods and why they work. So hopefully, just being able to hear a lot of this stuff from me will, hopefully convince you about these methods. I'm not trying to sell anything. All I'm trying to do is tell you what worked best for me. Like, this is absolutely hands down the greatest methods for any body type. It doesn't matter if you're an endomorph. It doesn't matter if you're an ectomorph. It doesn't matter if you're a mesomorph. These methods, through just simple biochemistry, simple biology, I'll try and break it down why it works, but it works for anyone and everyone, period. If these methods aren't working for you, quite honestly, I think you may be doing something wrong. Maybe I can help you, maybe take a look at what you're doing. But if these methods aren't working for you, there's got to be something wrong. It works for anyone. If it worked for someone like me with, the kind of crazy genetics and whatnot, prone to weight gain, all this stuff that I have as an endomorph, someone who's formerly morbidly obese, trust me, it'll work for you. I'm serious, it'll work for you. All right, so let's begin. The three things I'm going to cover today are going to be intermittent fasting, fasted strength training, and macronutrient cycling. And I'll be going through these three techniques. They're basically the three things that I did to go from this to this in just 9 months' time. So pretty much I went from what was over 20% body fat to all the way down to even this, which was 6% body fat back in April when I finished my weight loss journey. I've just currently finished my first bulk, as I may have stated in a previous video or in a comment, but I'm back on a cut. So I'm on a cutting cycle right now. But basically, many people have said this, including, say, the Hodge twins over YouTube, but if you just look at this photo, you can just see how much that my face, how much my face has just gotten sucked up. And if you do all these techniques properly, I guarantee you, you can get as lean as you possibly want to be. So these three methods right here will work well for anyone. Say if your goal is to build muscle or to burn fat, it'll work well for you. The reason why it worked so well for me from a weight loss perspective is it helped to tackle a lot of my insulin sensitivity issues. A lot of the problems with a lot of people that are obese, they have problems with insulin resistance, similar to people who are type 2 diabetic. But the reason why it helped me is because these three things, when working in unison, really tackle insulin resistance issues. They really attack that at its core. So that's one of the reasons why it really helped me. Another really important thing is that intermittent fasting right here, it increases natural human growth hormone production, and human growth hormone is very essential. If you look at a lot of the studies out there, I'll link some in the video description. Actually, if you go to the video description, I'll have a lot of useful links for anyone that's interested in learning more, and I'll also have a lot of the scientific studies that are explaining a lot of the things that I'm talking about. But as far as natural human growth hormone production is concerned, it increases HGH by 1,300% in women and up to 2,000% in men. And if you look at that, that's natural human growth hormone production. When you increase it to those levels just through intermittent fasting alone, you just cannot get any better than that. That's 2,000% in men and 1,300% in women. So the thing about human growth hormone is it's very important for people who are, looking to burn fat, who are looking to build muscle, or even looking to, help slow down the aging process. Here are a couple of the things that maximizing your HGH will do. It will help you build and maintain muscle mass. Number 2, it'll help you burn adipose tissue or burn fat. Number 3, this is something I really like personally, but it helps you maximize your exercise capacity. And when you do that, you sort of increase your endurance. You don't get tired as easily, you can last longer. This 4th thing is particularly important for people who have these types of issues, say if you're morbidly obese or you just have that kind of problem, but it helps you increase your bone density. Okay, so the 5th thing that I really love about improving your growth hormone levels is that it enhances your immune system. And this is something I really like because I've been following these methods right here for a year and a half, and actually, there was one time where I was really sick. And this was one time where I was extremely sick. I actually felt like I was on death's door. I had the shivers. I had a fever of 104. I felt like I was going to die. Like, I'm talking like straight up die. But the thing about this is like your immune system is boosted to the point where even if you have these kinds of like problems or you have these like sudden onsets of the flu, like I guarantee you will get well a lot quicker through intermittent fasting, which boosts these HGH levels. I like I said, I had a fever of 104, feeling absolutely terrible. And by the morning, just after a night's rest, I just felt great. I felt like it was just a bad dream. And so that's something I can personally attest to. All right, so the 6th thing that human growth hormone does that I'd like to cover is it improves your mood and your well-being. So the 7th thing that I'd like to cover here that human growth hormone provides is powerful anti-aging abilities. And I know for a lot of you out there, this is something very important. So, when you just take all of these things into account, you really have to see how when you increase your human growth hormone production, and like I said, 1,300 up to 1,300% in women and up to 2,000% in men, just through intermittent fasting, you got to see that all these benefits, these are all the benefits that I listed are already functions that human growth hormone provides. And when you can maximize those to those kind of percents, trust me, you're really getting the most bang out of your buck. Like, you really are. Okay, so you're probably wondering, what is this? Or WTF is this? So you're probably wondering, what is that? What is intermittent fasting? The basic concept behind intermittent fasting is where you have periods of time or windows where you do not eat, and you have periods of time and windows where you do eat. So this all varies on the different protocols that are out there. Martin Burkhan's Lean Gains, he's like hands down like the pioneer. A lot of the information that he covers are some of the best things that have come out. Like if it wasn't for him, a lot of the stuff that you see today, say if you see a lot of these books at Barnes and Noble and whatever that are trying to sell their stuff, honestly, a lot of it is just stealing a lot of the information and concepts that Martin Burkhan talks about. So there's that 8-hour window, which is pretty standard. There's Eat, Stop, Eat from Brad Pillen, and he covers a 24-hour fast period that you can do maybe 2 to 3 times a week, 1 to 2 times a week, and there's that. And then there's basically other types of windows too that shorten down your eating window and your fasting window to various lengths of time. But the standard intermittent fasting, according to Martin Burkhan, would just be 16 hours fasted and then 8 hours feeding. And I'll cover more of this in depth in a future video, what I choose to do for my eating windows and whatnot. But for now, I'll just leave it at that. All right, so that right there pretty much explains one of the basic benefits of intermittent fasting, which is improving your natural HGH production, and also explaining what is intermittent fasting. So now I'd like to touch on the improvement of your health markers. So fasting in general is found to reduce cardiac risk factors. It's also been found to improve triglyceride levels, regulations in body weight, and blood sugar levels as well. And I can personally attest to all of that. Okay, and the second thing I want to touch on right now in this video is strength training, but more specifically fasted strength training. I'll touch on fasted strength training, but for now I'll just talk about strength training in general. And A lot of people, when they think about strength training, they think, oh, I'm gonna lift heavy weights, I'm gonna get like big and bulky. I don't wanna be big and bulky, especially the ladies don't wanna think that. A lot of guys who are obese, they're afraid to lift weights and just because they don't wanna get big and bulky. But I can guarantee you, if you do strength training in a caloric deficit, and I mean that, caloric deficit, you will not get big and bulky, you will get lean. I'm telling you, I got very lean just by strength training. For that year and a half I've been doing intermittent fasting, I haven't done a single bit of cardio. All I've done is strength training. Now, specifically fasted strength training. Now, if you want to do some cardio as well, some light cardio, or maybe some running, some interval sprints, things like that, do that on the days where you're not focusing on strength. But if you're focusing on strength, you don't really need to do cardio at all. Now, if you were to do cardio, I guarantee you your results will be quicker probably. Everything will be improved. But just for the sake of showing what paths are available, there is a path where you don't have to do cardio. You can just do strength training. And I can personally attest to that. So one of the biggest points about strength training is that it improves your cardiovascular endurance without doing cardio. And not only does it improve your endurance, but it improves your cardiovascular performance. For instance, I have a blood pressure of 111/70 resting, and my resting heart rate as well is 45. So you know, a lot of people think when they see that, they ask me, do you do cardio? Are you a marathon runner? And I tell them, no, I barely walk. The only time I really ever walk is if I'm walking around the mall or I'm walking from the parking lot of the gym from my car to the weight room. So, I mean, that's all that I do. All I do is fasted strength training. Now, if you want to add in more cardio, man, your heart rate could be like, I don't even know. If you do what I do and you actually do cardio, I can only imagine. Probably be like some kind of Lance Armstrong with a resting heart rate of 37. Who knows? Okay, so you remember how in the beginning of the video I talked about insulin levels? I talked about insulin resistance and insulin sensitivity. Well, strength training, or more specifically fasted strength training, provides superior insulin sensitizing effects, even over cardio. This is one of the reasons why if you do happen to want to do cardio and you happen to want to do these things as well, I would recommend doing strength training first and then supplementing some light cardio afterwards. You know, if you really want to get that improved fat burning effect, because you take that insulin sensitizing effect of strength training and you just like multiply it by adding in some cardio afterwards. So there's that. But as far as strength training goes, I'm going to go more in depth about what I do personally. In some future videos, I'll go over my workout routine as well, so everyone can take a look at that. But strength training is training heavy. You're taking those compound movements like deadlifts and squats and bench presses, and you're training it to the heaviest that you can go. And that's all relative. Just because someone's doing 315, squatting 315, benching 315, and that's what they consider for strength training, that doesn't mean that's what you would consider. Say if you can only bench 120, you can only bench 100 pounds, you can only squat 100 pounds. That really doesn't matter. Strength training is relative. If that's an 8 or a 10, 8 to a 10 on a scale of 1 to 10 of difficulty for you, then do it, because that's really strength training. That right there is strength training. You're not doing high repetition hypertrophy training, but you're working with strength. And because you're working with strength, you're working with the lower rep ranges. So, 3 reps, 5 reps, at most maybe 8. All right, so the third thing I'm going to cover in this video is macronutrient cycling. Now, it's known by various other names on the internet and in the fitness community, but this is just what I prefer to call it. All right, so I'm going to give you the 411 on macronutrient cycling right now. So between my workout days and my rest days, I'm cycling dietary methods. By that, I mean on my workout days, I'm eating a diet that's high in protein, moderate in carbs, and low in fat. And on my rest days, I'm eating a diet that is high in protein, moderate in fat, and low in carbs. So essentially, I'm cycling moderate and high carb with low carb the day following after that. And I cycle that every single day. So say if I work out Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday will be low carb. And Monday, Wednesday, Friday will be moderate carb or high carb. So Whenever I give consultations, I always like to ask people to assess their need for carbohydrates. By assessing it, you need to ask yourself whether you need that muscle glycogen repletion beyond just repleting the glycogen in your liver. And the way you can do that is ask yourself, are the exercises that I'm doing right now, are they really intense? Do they tire me out to the point where I need to have carbohydrates? Am I doing high intensity interval training? Am I doing heavy strength training? Am I doing intense work, like say if I'm doing boxing or I'm doing a martial art? Do I need carbohydrates? Because if the answer is yes to any of those, then yes, you do need some starchy carbohydrates. But if you're living a sedentary lifestyle, say all you do is, jog for 30 minutes, run for 30 minutes, say all you do is walk, say all you're doing is sitting on a couch playing video games, you probably don't need starchy carbohydrates. In fact, you probably don't need them at all. What I would recommend is get your carbohydrates from vegetable sources, cruciferous vegetables, green vegetables, things like that. You gotta get them from, some fruit. But I would probably recommend that you stay away from starchy carbohydrates, rice, potatoes, breads, pastas, things like that. You need to assess whether you need it or not, because as an active person or as someone who's an athlete, you really do need some starchy carbohydrates. Now, this is something that when I was really into the low carb group of the paleo diet, paleo diet isn't necessarily low carb, but I was in the low carb camp of it. I really believed that, back then I believed that all starches were evil. I thought rice was evil and whatnot. I thought it was the devil. But hey, seriously, you just assess your needs. And if your needs fit this assessment, whether you're living that kind of that lifestyle that requires starchy carbohydrates, it will not make you fat. Period. It won't. And that's something that I had to trust and learn through doing these methods right here. Okay, so that covers right now the assessing your needs and active versus sedentary, and I'm going to cover right now a protein-based diet, which is what I do. And by a protein-based diet, I mean getting at minimum 0.8 grams per pound of body weight and all the way up to 1.5 grams of protein per pound of body weight. Now, I understand if you're really obese, that's an extreme amount. If you're 350 pounds, 500 pounds or more, you're not going to want to eat that much protein. That's just absolutely ridiculous. So for people that are say above 300 pounds, 380, I recommend they at least get 250 grams of protein. Even just taking what their weight is and going down maybe a couple hundred, even 250 grams of protein is really great for someone who's that large. But the main reason I choose protein as my primary macronutrient, and by macronutrient, I mean the 3 macronutrients, which are fat, carbs, and protein. What I mean by a protein-based diet is I mean protein being the top macronutrient that I choose. And the reason why I choose that is because not only does it provide a superior effect on satiety, but it also provides a higher thermic effect as well. Protein has the highest thermic effect of food more than anything else. Your body burns a lot of that energy just processing the protein. And this is more so than fat and more so than carbs as well. And actually, speaking of things that have a high thermic effect of food, alcohol is something that also has a high thermic effect of food. You may have noticed that when you drink a lot of alcohol, some of you may feel warm, and it's because it's that thermic effect. Now, the same effect happens when you have a lot of protein as well. You feel that heat. You may feel hot. This is just generally speaking. There's always exceptions out there, but generally speaking, you will feel a little hotter. Now, another benefit to eating high protein is it has a diuretic effect. And by diuretic effect, I mean it makes you piss. So, granted, a lot of water retention you may have, you may be pissing out. You may be, you may be urinating. It may be just being expelled from your body. And a big benefit of this is water retention is a big issue for a lot of people. So protein in high quantities can be a diuretic, similar to coffee, similar to alcohol, similar to all these other things that are diuretics as well. Okay, so that's pretty much it for this video. I've covered intermittent fasting, fasted strength training, which fasted will be covered more in a future video, and macronutrient cycling. Now, This is a new series of videos where I'm going to be talking specifics about my methods. So you can look forward to seeing my workout routine. You can be looking forward to seeing how I approach intermittent fasting. You can be looking forward to seeing some of my meal plans, which will really explain macronutrient cycling more in depth. Now, the main thing I want to get across right now is if you're interested in reading more about these techniques, there are a couple sources that I want to point out right off the bat. You can, first of all, go to leangains.com. Martin Burkhan's blog and comments have been an incredible help to me. You know, everything on there is provided for free. It sells nothing but the method itself. And that was something that I really loved. It was something that it was something that just showed the science, showed why it worked, and it did it all for free, which is something I really appreciate. Now, if you're looking for more information on this and for just more explanations on things, you can look up Nate Miyake, or you can look up Brad Pillen's book, Eat, Stop, Eat, which will also be a big help to you. So if this video was helpful, please give me a thumbs up, comment, share with your friends, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. You doing all those things really keeps me motivated to wanting to make these videos. All right, so one last thing. If you need to contact me, please email me at wearewillpower@live.com. This is a great way to contact me. I don't really check my YouTube inbox anymore, and I feel really sorry for those that are really trying to reach out to me there because I just can't keep up with it anymore. I get a lot of marketers emailing me to put their links into my video, my 175-pound transformation video. I can't deal with it. Like, for every one legitimate email I do get, I get like maybe 10 or 15 spam emails, so it's just too much to go through. So I really apologize for that. Also, at the end of the video, I'll have links to my Facebook, which is the best way to contact me, Twitter and Instagram as well, if you want to follow me there. So that pretty much sums up this entire video. My name is John Calvo, and remember, you are willpower.